This is the human heart. Central to our physical body, our survival, revered by poets throughout history as the emotional center of our being. The place we instinctively touch when asked to point to ourselves. And now, what we have known intuitively is being understood scientifically. Researchers are unlocking a new science of the heart that could change everything we know about health and our interconnected nature. Coherence is a state of balance between heart, mind, and emotions, creating a favorable cascade of neural, hormonal, and biochemical events that benefit the entire body. But this phenomenon not only benefits us personally, it affects everything around us, emitting an electromagnetic field that can be measured up to 3 feet outside of the body. When you are in coherence, your heart resonates at the same frequency as the Earth's magnetic field. This frequency positively affects everything around you. When a group of people are in coherence together, this effect is magnified. Could communities synchronized in coherence lower violence, accelerate cooperation, and global harmony? This is the purpose of the Global Coherence Pulse. If we can measure the impact of thousands of people in coherence at the same time, it could lead to a breakthrough in understanding the full potential of the human heart. All you need to participate is your presence and your heart. To take it to the next level, join the research study by downloading the app and getting an HRV monitor to measure your personal coherence. The world needs it more than ever before. Each human heart is unique and magnificent by itself. But imagine what could be possible when we unify.
Beautiful. And here we are at the next pulse. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're calling in from. I can see from the chat that we're coming in from all around the world. Happy Global Coherence Day. We claim this day today for ourselves and for our global family and for all of life. And the best way for us to claim this day is to celebrate our hearts. That's really the star of the show today. And that we had a beautiful session this morning. We were on with Heart Math and Claudia Wells, one of the co-founders. We had Minoz with us, beautiful music. We had Dirk and Hillary from Global Hotspot. And boy, did we generate a beautiful wave of love that we're now going to continue to build on here together for our afternoon session. And our afternoon session today includes Nassim Haramein, Marshall Lefferts, both from the Resonance Science Foundation. We have Andrea Malone on today with art crystals, and our musical guest today is Cornflower. And we really like having this combination of some inspiration that really helps us understand about the power of coherence and us joining our heart-centered, coherent energy together, and combine that with music that helps us just to open our heart and really touch into those positive emotions that we want to be pulsing on the planet. And then taking time to be in a shared synchronized meditation together. Really will pulse the field this entire 2 hours, but we will take some very focused time for us to really connect in deeply with this innate nature of ourselves, our coherent nature, and pulse that energy into the field. So let's just start with placing our attention on our heart, which, as I said, is the star of the show today. And let's dedicate this day to our individual and our collective heart, the beating of which really indicates that we are indeed alive. And we can be grateful for that. And we dedicate this to our breath, which is moving in and out of our heart and creating this beautiful harmony. And let's just feel a wave of gratitude rising up in our hearts for being able to come together like this today, to dedicate this moment to love, to compassion, to care, and mostly to gratitude right now. I always like to feel the bottom of my feet and send a wave of gratitude like I am into my own heart, into the heart of the earth. Because when we join in coherence, we're in resonance with the heartbeat of our Mother Earth. And so we celebrate this Global Coherence Day for ourselves, for our fellow man, for our Mother Earth, and for every molecule of life in the cosmos. And let's just also send a wave of gratitude to each other for all of the people who are joining today. We had over 9,000 people register for this day, for this sessions. I just got a report from Roland from HeartMath that we had 38,000 views already on our morning session. There are people all around the world. I think it's millions, if not billions of us are really ready to connect our hearts and to pulse the planet with gratitude and care and compassion and love. And in this gratitude, I just want to thank some of our sponsors, our partners that help make it happen. This is a big thing that we're doing every month, and especially out throughout the month of August. And we couldn't do that without our partner, Awake TV Network, who's been pulsing the pulses out to the community since the beginning, since April. And they've really stepped up to create some of the most important shows and programs around coherence that we've been seeing. And I really want to honor Bree, who's our main tech person for Awake TV. Today is her birthday. So I just want to send a happy birthday wish out to Bree. Thank you for all of your support. And I want to send a shout out to Unify, Tammy and Adil and Rachel and Maya and Jennifer and all of the people who have helped us. Ian, who's on the line with us today, making sure that our live broadcast goes well and that people hear about what we're doing, and that they really have stepped up on the planet to support synchronized events like this. And I want to thank our one of our main partners, HeartMath Institute, and the Global Coherence Initiative. And we really are standing on this fertile ground that they have been creating for years, decades, really, with the research around heart coherence and the power of it. And it's in the beautiful garden that they've set that we're beginning to grow and expand this important worldview and this practice. And they have created a Global Coherence app. And if you haven't gotten that, we'd love for you to download it in the App Store so that you can register yourself on the app, and we can see you on the map, and we can begin to track some feedback on our coherence level. And if you really want to get into the research, you can get a sensor. I have one here that helps us to kind of track our own coherence level. And we're going to be doing readings of the whole community and how we're doing in our coherence over the month. I also just want to say that we have a growing group of partners that we're working with, and you're here because of them. They sent you an email, they let you know about this through Facebook posts, and they invited you to come. And this growing group, or I call it a solar system of organizations that are joining forces, we're learning how to collaborate better. We're learning how to come together in mutually beneficial ways so that we can maximize our synergy and support you, the communities that we love and serve. So today's event, as I said, is going to be with Nassim Haramein, which I'm really excited to have him join us. He's one of my favorite men on the planet. He's super fun and always has such an important message, because what he shows us, what he tells us through his science, is that it is true that coherence is our natural state of being. And when we're in heart-centered coherence, we're in harmony with life. We're in harmony with the earth and nature and the cosmos and each other. Because at the heart of it all, we're all one. So we'll get an opportunity to hear from Nassim and continue to reinforce our understanding so that our natural trust in the state of our heart-centered coherence can be amplified in this shared field of our community. And we can all begin to sound the unique note that we are in the universe, the note that we're singing in the universe, the one song. And so today I dedicate this session to all of you, to our shared heart. And I hope that your participation in this session will bring you some love and joy, and that love and joy will get amplified out across the planet during our session for the benefit of all life. So I am going to welcome in my friend Cornflower, who I absolutely just love. Cornflower is going to take us on a little musical journey to start, and we love bringing in music right away because it's a way that we already start the prayer. We already start the pulsing of the field with the music. So Cornflower, I love you so much. I love what you bring with your joy and your music. And I invite you to take us on a little journey today as we celebrate our second event on this Global Coherence Day.
Thank you so much, Teresa, and such a gift to be here with you all in this moment, tuning in from all around the globe. All right, so I'm going to just drop in and just channel some music. So if we could all just take 3 deep conscious breaths together, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth with a sound.
Cornflower, thank you so much. It's always beautiful to have you, and your music really starts to open the heart up. Thank you. So I'd love to get Marshall and Nassim to put their cameras on, because I'm going to go ahead and spotlight both of those and bring them on. And I saw somebody saying, I thought we were going to come on and meditate. And I just want to invite you that this whole 2 hours is really about being in your heart and pulsing the field with love and being in joy and listening to what's being shared. And we will do a meditation as part of this 2 hours. It's in the second part of the time. And just be here and enjoy, because I think you're going to have a fun time, because I really invited some fun people today. And so one of them is Marshall Lefferts. And Marshall, I'm going to just spot your video. Thanks for coming on today with us.
Pleasure.
And Marshall's part of the Resonance Academy, and he also often joins Nassim on Live with Nassim calls and asks them questions. And we put together some questions for Nassim that Marshall's going to ask. And Nassim, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight your video. And I'm really happy to have you on. I've been missing you so much. We used to hang out a little bit more, and I haven't seen him in a while. And thanks for joining on a Saturday. I know you got your boys there and lots of fun things to do, but we appreciate having your presence. And there's always something about what you share that takes us right into the heart of the truth of who we are and what we're capable of here. And I didn't want people to not have you as part of this important day. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. It's great to be on with you, and I miss you too. And it's great to connect in coherency at this time. It's definitely needed amongst the chaos. And I think it's good to have these island of coherencies, both for each of our individual lives, but globally as well. And we know it has an impact globally because it can be measured, and HeartMath done amazing work in doing that, and as well Stanford University, and started in Princeton, I believe, you know, with the eggs and the random generators. So I'm really happy to be able to contribute my little piece of coherence. Hopefully I don't go incoherent anytime during the call, but you know, it's always a dance.
Yes. Well, we always love the kind of joy that you bring into it, and just the you know, just you're so real. And that's what I think we all want, right? We don't want to have like presenters who kind of tell us a story. We want to have people who are actually kind of living it and embodying it and doing our best to really spread the word. And that's something that you do, Nassim, beautifully. So thanks for being here. Yeah. So Marshall, I know we have a couple of questions for Nassim. Do you want to like start one, throw one his way and see what he does with it?
Of course. Yeah. Well, just to say, for those who are maybe new to Nassim and who he is and what this is about. Many years ago, I guess approaching 20 years ago now, Nassim, you founded what's now the Resonance Science Foundation. And for 30 plus years, you have been pioneering a new perspective on physics and science in general that we call unified physics and unified science. And developing very rigorous theories, mathematically validated, and making incredible progress in really being able to answer some of the biggest unanswered questions in physics with incredible accuracy. So that's the foundation of what we are exploring today. And of course, it ties directly into this exploration of coherence in the universe. And very much in that model is the presence of coherence within the geometry and the mathematics, as it's been shown. So just for people who are watching who may be new, Nassim, to what unified physics and unified science is in general, just give a very brief introduction to why it is called a unified science and unified physics.
Well, unified science, because science tends to be siloed and isolated, sciences today, you know, have a hard time. Scientists have a hard time cross-fertilizing and cross-communicating. And that's because, you know, people get specialized. There's very specific languages, very specific concepts that goes with each of these specialties. You know, even in the context of one large field of physics, for instance, astrophysics. So you can have people that are into stellar physics. Some people may be into binary black hole physics and so on. Some people might be in cosmology and, you know, cosmogenesis physics. And the communication between even groups that are inside the same field of exploration, including, you know, quantum physics and quantum field equations and so on, have a hard time communicating. And if they do, then the result is that we get a fragmented view of the universe, we get a fragmented view of physics, we get fragmented view of science in general. For instance, you know, biologists may study cellular interactions and cellular chemistry and so on, but very rarely does biologists include the concept that cells are made out of atoms and that atoms are ruled by quantum physics. And so, you know, if you don't have the basis of the atomic structure that makes up the cells, then everything you're doing is assuming a certain set of information is already present and then going from there, but you're missing big chunks. So unified science is about unifying all of the sciences under the same umbrella, under the same structure, so that cross-fertilization and interaction can be can occur, and as well so that we can develop a unified view of scientific knowledge, which is required in order for us to have a, you know, universal view on how things work. If we think biology is separate from quantum theory and that quantum theory is separate from, you know, cosmology, although all those things are inside each other, then we can't understand the fundamental thread that runs through all these scales and all these dynamics.
Yeah, that which unifies it all. And of course, from the perspective of unified science, it's the foundation of that is it is one unified system, and therefore seeing how that unified system is relating and interacting is important. It also informs a new worldview on science, and that shifts the paradigm of how we even think about nature and our world and the universe and ourselves. So what do you feel is the importance and the relevance of this shift at this time, from that worldview shift in our world right now? What would be the most important and relevant aspects of that worldview?
I think is to remove the box. You know, I think is to realize we're not inside a closed system, we're inside an open system, right? Most of our laws of physics start within a closed system, which is useful if you're trying to run thermodynamics equation or energy equation, whatever. But if you're gonna actually you know, try to understand the foundation of where energy comes from, where does thermodynamics come from, where does mass come from, where does charge come from, then you have to open the system. You have to like look at the whole to understand the parts. You can't just look at the part and assume that that part that you're looking at is isolated from the rest of the universe. Because then you're probably going to get the wrong answer, or at least a partial answer. And so I think the most important thing is to realize we are not isolated. Nothing is isolated. Nothing can be looked at without the context in which what it is in, right? It cannot be separate from the universe. You cannot separate anything from anything else. That's not possible. You can make a really, really good Faraday cage. You know, I have good ones at the lab, you know, at some 120 dB attenuation and all this. And you can isolate maybe a few of the electromagnetic fields, you know, that's transient in the space and stuff. But you're not going to isolate the system. You still, you know, the things inside the box are still going to be confined by gravity, for instance. They're still going to stick to the ground inside the box. They're not going to start floating away. So gravity is going to still be present. And, you know, all kinds of interactions are occurring, including interactions that we don't necessarily measure, like interactions that are occurring at a frequency so high, at a wavelength so short, like at the Planck scale, that we don't measure it readily with instruments in a room. So, you know, basically the concept of an isolated system has got to go away. And that has an impact, for instance, even just globally in our understanding of, like, when we do something here, it's going to have an impact there. And when, you know, when we do something personally, it has an impact on everybody else and so on. Like, this concept of I can do pretty well whatever I want over here and it's not going to affect anybody else, that's what has led us to massive destruction of our environment and our, you know, ecosystem at the edge of collapsing and so on. And so we have to start thinking universally, globally. I keep telling people, you're a galactic being, you know, like we're galactic beings. And people, when I talk like that, people think I'm being esoteric or something. And it's got nothing to do with being esoteric. It's a fact. You know, you're on the planet that's inside the solar system, that's in transcend the box and go vertical. I call it going vertical. You know, sorry, I just went on, but
no, that's good, because it's painting a picture of the wholeness that is inherent in a unified model. And that's what you're saying, is that there's a shift from the fragmented, isolated, limited view that, with that view, introduces those kinds of actions and ramifications. But when we shift that all the way around, so you start with the wholeness, and our place in the universe is integrated in that. It informs so much about how we think and how we act and the choices we make. So today we're celebrating Global Coherence Day and bringing in coherence into ourselves, in our hearts and in our emotions, in our minds, and into the world, and into the field. And I wanted to ask, from a unified physics perspective, what does coherence mean, and how is it observed in the universe as being already inherent in universal dynamics?
So that's really an interesting question, and I'm hoping my sound is coming out okay. You're a little choppy there, Marshall, yeah, but I don't know if it's the same for. I don't know if it's your end or my end.
I think it's your end, Nassim, but we're getting most of you. There's a little chop in the internet, but we're getting most of you. And Marshall's a little frozen right now.
Okay.
Yeah, mine froze up. I should be back though.
Yeah.
So, you know, if some of the physics I've been writing, especially lately, and this unpublished, but you can see it from the earlier papers I've published. Some of the physics I've been writing is showing that actually what we call matter and what we call reality, which is made out of matter, which is generally made out of approximately 99.9999999% space, is actually an island of coherency in an otherwise stochastic environments. That is that space is fluctuating, And you can think of it as like water going down the drain in your tub. And the water that's far from the drain is fluctuating in a less incoherent way than the water that's in the spiral that's going down the drain. All the molecules in that spiral are actually co-moving in a much coherent way than a much more coherent way that the water that's further from the drain. And so what that means is that matter is actually like the part that's coherent in the field. It's like the little vortex in the fluctuations of the space. In this view, and this is a standard view of quantum theory, is that space is not empty, it's full of energy, and it's full of a lot of energy. And it was always thought that this energy was completely incoherent and it all cancels out to zero, so you could ignore it. And what we're discovering, and certainly what I've been writing for the last 30 years, is that actually, no, that energy is the source of the coherent part that we call matter. Matter is actually this fundamental field spinning in a region of space in a coherent matter that produces what we call the physical world. So coherency is what the physical world is about. It's like the music of the spheres, you know, and it really makes a difference, because when it assembles itself in more and more complex system like biology, this biology has a very high level of coherency as well, and it functions under very specific coherent behaviors. And if these behaviors become incoherent, even for a few seconds, you would have a very, very bad day. So it's all about, you know, having a maximum amount of coherent relationships in, whether it's in your body, whether it's in your atomic level, you know, or if, you know, in your life in general.
Hey, Nassim, you went into a black hole. Can you try doing one thing for me? Could you try turning off your video for a second, down in the Zoom thing, and then turn it back on, and let's see what happens. It was so funny. You're just like, people are making great comments in the thing because you're in a black hole.
I'm sorry. I
That's
think
okay.
Zoom crashed. So
Why
I'm
don't
gonna leave and come back.
Okay, great. That's perfect. And we'll connect with Marshall for a minute. Marshall, is your computer frozen?
I don't think so.
There we
think it's
go.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there you're back. I
Yeah.
just want to let people know a little bit about you too, Marshall, while we have you on. I didn't say anything about cosmometry, and I was going to do that towards the end, but I'd love to say something about that now and have you just share with people, and we'll put some links in the chat. Besides being the board of directors of the Resonance Science Foundation, he's also working on the new Thrive movie that's coming out. Was the co-director of visual effects, which the Unified Field is the star of that show and doing incredible work. Marshall's written a book, really a tome. It was super, super thick, on cosmometry. And for those of us that, you know, are more layman understanding of unified physics and its relationship to our lives and everything, this book is really an important doorway in. So I just wanted you to give it like just a little bit for people, and then we can put some things in the chat.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're starting to hear a little bit about from Nassim about some of the ways that unified physics and unified science informs our perspective on the world, and it actually informs our scientific models as well. And I have known Nassim for 20 years, also with Foster and Kimberly Gamble, who created Thrive for around 20 years as well. And I've been exploring this path for over 40 years, and initially exposed to the work of Buckminster Fuller. And I'm a musician, and with all those things combined, I came to realize that there's a very coherent model of the geometric cosmic geometry, the model of unified physics, and music, and our experience as beings of consciousness, that is all one unified system. And it's very elegant, it's very simple. It's a holofractal, it's holographic and fractal system, as is the basis of the science. And so my book is an exploration of that. You can really get a good sense of Nassim's unified physics theory from it. We also have our online program at resonancescience.org, which is a free program to explore unified science. Yeah, so my book is, well, we'll put a link to it in the chat.
Yeah.
And I'll be next week presenting a bit as well in this global coherence journey. And there's Nassim, looking like we see you. He has come across the event horizon. You have to unmute though, we don't hear you.
It's still a black screen though.
No, I see him on another screen maybe.
Let's see.
Can you guys see me?
Can
you hear me?
I see you and I hear you, just a small image right now.
I don't.
We lost coherency there for a minute.
There we are.
There we go.
So it might just be your distance from your router, but everybody in the field right now, let's hold some really coherent heart-centered energy and hold Nassim, and let's get the vibes going to keep him on.
Thank you.
Stay on this side of the event horizon.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna hang out on the other side. Well, yeah, so I don't know if you all got what I was saying about coherency, but basically all of reality is about coherency, so it's a really important concept.
Yeah, it's the coherency that makes our experience of reality happen and keeps it in a continuity. And it's when systems become incoherent that they dissipate and break down.
Right.
Which is part of the process, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So next question, Nassim, what would change in society if the principles and applications of unified physics and unified science were fully embraced in our world?
I think that I'm going to move as I'm answering, because hopefully if I get closer to my router, we'll be happier.
Okay, well, you're frozen now, so hopefully it'll unfreeze.
So I think that if the principles of coherency and the principles of unification were applied in our society today, we would...
Hang on, Nassim. I think all the movement's breaking it up. So
success.
Just get yourself settled because it's breaking up. There you go. Okay, I think it's back.
Okay, great. Yeah, I mean, it's critical. It's that point that we're at. I think it's that point of inflection in our society right now that we're at. It's that point where we have to unify. We have to realize we're all on the same planet. We're all on the same rock, flying through space at tremendous speed, and that we have to work as a global community and as a coherent global community, supporting each other, and that starts at the individual level, the family level, the friends, the extended family, and so on, and at the community level, and so on, and we have to get rid, as I was saying, the isolated system. We have to get rid of the box. So it's like we've made lines on the planet to divide it. Well, we gotta realize that these lines are artificial, that we're all humans, that it's not because somebody has a different pigmentation in their skin that they're
separate from us or fundamentally different from us. You know, it really is critical that we come together, and this is why I think that unified physics is so important, is because actually when you understand the physics at the most profound level of creation, you see that they are fundamentally unified. You see that the universe is fundamentally one thing. It's this fluctuation of information that you emerge from, and that you call your awareness and your consciousness, and your body is an expression of this information flow throughout the universe. And when you realize that everything is that, and that you're just part of this amazing mechanism, like that you cannot exist without. Like, you can't exist without the trees, you can't exist without the water, you can't exist, like every single thing that's going on this planet, including all the other humans, is required for you to be here. And it's like you're part of this system, and you're playing an important role in this system, and you cannot isolate yourself from it. And I think, like, this whole episode with viruses and you know, sickness and all this is really showing us how connected we are, and you know, how interdependent we are on our environment, on each other, on, you know, and that the planet is this very small. You see, the virus didn't have any problem going around the planet very fast. You know, it's not very big, and nowhere could be isolated, right? And so it's like, so to realize that at the most profound level, not just in a conceptual way, but actually to understand the physics that makes that true. And that's why, you know, because that's important, because that grounds it into the reality. It's not like some esoteric concept or some spiritual concept. It's actually the way things are. And this is why at the Resonant Science Foundation, we made the course free so that everybody can. We have 47,000 people taking the course right now, you know, and rising, like 500 per day. And, you know, we want millions of people, because it's like the information, it's fairly extensive course and so on. And we're about to update it. It was written 7 years ago. And because the papers I'm writing right now, I finished the unification of physics, and it's very beautiful. All scales, all constants, all particles, one concept, one equation, like multiple equations, but one fundamental formalism. The outputs, you know, with 13 to 14 digit accuracy, the constants, the scales, the relationship, like it's one big amazing universe, and you're part of it. And that's such a fundamental concept that has to like land in people so that we can support, and people know this instinctively, right? Like, people help each other. Look at what's going on around the world. People are risking their lives to help each other. I mean, it's happening. We gotta align our institutions and our corporate structures and our financial structures to this fundamental concept that we are one.
Hallelujah.
I was thinking as well, as you said that, Nassim, about the individuals, how we each have to really take that in, understand it in the science and in ourselves, in our lives. And with that comes a certain accountability and responsibility, because there's no way we could possibly be separate from a universal field, from the unified network of the earth and all the people on it and all the life and all the interactions we have. There comes a next level of responsibility and accountability with that understanding, doesn't there?
Absolutely. You know, when you realize this, then you realize that everything you do has an impact. You realize that, you know, the way you think about things, you know, I mean, all of a sudden you start thinking, wow, you know, maybe I should edit some of my thoughts, because we have all these thoughts that are going through our mind throughout the day. And sometimes we don't realize, well, what am I thinking? You know, what am I sending into the field? You know, where am I going with this? You know, and it, you know, it can be something that's, that's a filter that's still present from experience you had 30 years ago, 50 years ago when you were a kid, whatever. And it, it can be edited, it can be changed, but it can only happen if we become aware that we can't just let our thoughts run amok, like that we have to, like, that we have a responsibility to the way we behave, the way we think, the way we interact, and so that we can unify, we can become, you know. And that doesn't mean you don't get angry, you don't have bad days, you don't, like, it doesn't mean that you just become like an angel that's just floating in the air somewhere and you're never affected by anything. It just means that whenever you go out of coherency, right, you have a quick path back to it, right? And this is why the work that HeartMath is doing is important and so on, because it's like, if you practice, then when you get angry because something happened, somebody cut you off on the highway, whatever, like, you can come back, you know, you can come back quick. You can, and you know where that is, right? So you have a home base, and so in that makes a huge difference. That makes a tremendous difference in your capacity to contribute to the whole, to contribute in your own life, but as well to contribute to the whole in a very powerful and meaningful way.
Yeah, and that's such an important point you're making about having that home base in ourselves, because the more we hold that coherence, even we're going to fluctuate, of course, everybody. And in our world right now, there's so much stress and uncertainty and a lot of fear that comes from that. And in that state, it's not easy to stay stabilized and to remain in your creativity and trust and compassion. Whereas one of the keys to even handling our current situation is to be able to return to that state. And that's why the global coherence pulse is so important. The HeartMath heart centering technique is so important. And understanding that this field, this unified field, the unified physics and science, is showing us that this is all very real. It's not just a nice idea. And you know, it's critical that we as a humanity on this planet really choose to bring that coherence into the world and really choose and act on it. It's not just a sweet idea. It's actually very practically necessary.
Right.
So,
I mean, it doesn't, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, it's not like, it might sound somewhat esoteric what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is actually the way things work, meaning like, you know, high level of resonance and coherency and self-organizing systems is required for even anything to exist. Microbes, blade of grass, you know, biology in general, like your existence, 100 trillion cells, but between 50 and 100 trillion cells, like, you know, each one made of about 100 trillion atoms. You know, it's like 100 trillion multiplied by 100 trillion is what you know are. And that's only if I stop at the atoms. Then there's the protons, and then there's the Plancks, and so on. And so, like, the amount of incredible energy and coherent self-organizing energy that's required for you to be here, you know, is an example. It's all inspiring example of the coherence that we could generate as an organism of humans on our planet at this time, and how powerful that would be, you know, in our evolution for us to be able to unify that way.
Absolutely. Another aspect of it is to bring it into the very physical reality that we have here and in our systems and our technologies, and the unified physics and unified science informs that in a big way, and is actually a very critical piece of being able to mitigate the problems that are being caused by our current technologies and engender a coherent and beneficial relationship with our technologies and our resources and nature and the cosmos. And maybe you could just speak a little bit about that. We have about 8 minutes, 7 minutes for this segment. So.
Yeah. So basically, you know, of course, if you realize that matter is not isolated from the space, but matter is actually a function of the space. It's like Einstein said that space was being curved by mass energy to produce gravity, right? So space-time curves and because of a mass energy. And what we're discovering, and certainly the way I wrote these equations, and it comes out just right, which is now verified in laboratory because I predicted the radius of the proton that became the value, now the standard value for the proton at this point, which is 4% smaller than the standard model. But what's important there is that, you know, this, when you realize that space is the source of energy and mass, you realize that it contains incredible amount of energy, and that it is when space becomes coherent that it creates what we call mass, charge, you know, gravitational field, and so on. Basically, there's no separation. Again, you got to get rid of the box. There's no separation between what we call mass and space-time curvature, whose space just spirals into regions of in a region, and at the end of the spiral tip we call it an atom, right? Or it might be a star, or it might be a galaxy. It depends how big the vortex is, right? And so basically you realize, wow, what about if I did my own little vortex in space? Like I could make a vortex, and you are making one as a human being, but like in the technology outside of you, you could make a vortex in space. You could curve space-time if you understand how it works now. If you understand these equations, if you understand the energy levels and so on, you can go in the laboratory and you can realize, okay, I can curve space in this way. I can interact with space, and I can produce my own island of coherency, and it's going to produce a lot of energy, and I could run my whole planet on this. I could curve space-time and create gravitational fields and travel through the solar system, through the galaxy, through the universe. I could open wormholes. I can go across universes. You know, all of a sudden it just opens up because you got the right concept, because you understood finally that you're a fish in the ocean, and the ocean is the source of you, right? And so it has a huge impact on our society, and it all starts with realizing that we're all connected through this field.
Yes, and the applications that extend from there for eliminating the need for fossil fuels to propel vehicles, whether horizontally or vertically,
right,
inside the Earth's atmosphere or outside of it, for accessing energy from that field that is infinitely abundant and clean and harmonious. And these are very understood and even developed technologies, or in development in terms of the levitational aspect. But like you said, understanding the science opens up the doorway for that, which you can see in our world. We need to make those kinds of critical shifts at this level of our technology. And,
exactly.
and the impacts that come from that not only are, you know, environmental, but they're they shift our whole perception of reality. And
exactly.
yeah.
Imagine if you can go to Jupiter for the weekend, you know, and look back at the Earth.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back at the Earth from Jupiter, it's not going to be hard to feel like all the humans are just one, you know, entity on the surface, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to change everything fundamentally. And it's really just a small view, a small, you know, viewpoint change, you know, a little change in our way, our understanding that starts with removing the separation and understanding the unification.
Yeah, exactly. Beautifully said. Well, I'm really excited you were describing a little bit about the nature of the field and the curvature and how the technologies interact with it. And as you know, Nassim, in Thrive 2, which is coming out soon, we've done some visual animations and visualizations of that even blew your mind. So it's going to be very fun to bring that out.
I can't wait to see the whole thing. I'm so excited.
There's even some you haven't seen yet. I'm looking forward.
I heard. I can't wait.
So that's coming soon. The next version, next Thrive 2 is coming up pretty soon, in the next couple of months, it's looking like, which will also introduce you to the nature of the field and the science and physics and many other ideas related to it. And as Nassim mentioned, we have the online course that you can participate in. And this kind of interaction with Nassim happens once a month. We call it Live with Nassim. I facilitate questions from our online community to, boy, it can go just about anywhere. We were pretty constrained into the science and the physics and the worldview today, but man, does it go anywhere else. And it's very fun. So please join us there as well. Thanks so much, Nassim, for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me, and happy Coherence Day. And let's just bring the coherency across the world to the point where we unify and move forward in a powerful way.
Let's do right now, Nassim. First, I just want to say, you know, thank you. And a lot of people are saying that they're signing on for your course right now. And I just want to also do a plug out that you made that course free. I mean, it's an amazing comprehensive course, and it's so important that it's out on the planet. But I want to encourage you guys that if you join the course and you like it, to join as a contributing member, because that way that the Resonance Science Foundation has the resources it needs to get more of this information out. And I think this is the time where those of us who can do a little bit, but lots of us do a little bit, then we can lift up the things that are super important. And we're funding the future with every choice we make with our money. And I really, really want to see the Resonance Science Foundation having the resources that it needs to get this message out and for you to be lifted up. So I really want to invite everybody to be generous and to go on to the program, but also sign up as a contributing member, and then you get more Nassim, right?
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. It helps us so much in being able to do research and continue to advance and then bring the information out to the public at large.
Yeah, and it needs to happen. Like we have to resource the things that we care about now. It's not coming from big places on the outside anymore. It's going to come from the critical mass of people saying, absolutely, we need this to happen. So I want to just have everybody that's on the line right now. We have close to 1,000 people with us on Zoom. We have lots of people out with us on Facebook. We're going to spotlight Nassim, because I want us all to generate our wave of love and gratitude and send it to this man who has been for years, like against the tide, right? And really doing it. So Nassim, I just want you to just take all of this wave in. Every molecule of your being completely saturated with our gratitude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It makes such a huge difference. It makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
For my body, for my spirit, for everything, for my energy levels. So I appreciate every bit of it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Teresa, Marshall, everybody, Cauliflower, everybody, Andrea, I love you all, and I'm really happy I was able to contribute and participate today.
Me too.
I appreciate it.
Your message is really important. You really said to us that what we're doing today by pulsing the field with heart coherent energy actually is huge, and it has a positive impact. So thank you, Nassim.
Thank you so much.
Yay, beautiful. So we're going to go to Mr. Cornflower next, and I asked him if he would, play some music, and he's just going to get us all juicy, and then we'll go into Andrea, and we'll do a pulsing meditation onto the field with our art crystals, and I have mine on, so we can amplify. So Cornflower, take it away.
Thank you all so much. This song is called Receive.
In other words, creating authentic power is learning to distinguish within yourself the difference between love and fear, and then choosing love no matter what.
Let's all send Cornflower just waves and waves and waves of love right now. Receive, open to receive. Yeah. I don't think that I was the only one who was in tears and laughing and dancing all at the same time. I hope you'll take some moments to look at the chat and see all the love and the healing that happened during that song.
So be it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cornflower. We'll be hearing from Cornflower again. We're going to have another session with him, so don't go away. And now we're going to come to Andrea. She's probably laughing because I'm crying. It happens on every pulse. As soon as I feel the field come into that state where it's just goes beyond, then I start to cry. So here I am. Par for the course, on perfect timing. So I wanted to welcome Andrea Malone and her beautiful partner, David Higham, who are both in the offices at Art Crystal. She works with Nassim there in the lab, and she's wearing one of the art crystals Nassim had it on today. It's definitely a coherence technology, a resonance coherence technology. And I know that you're going to give us a little juice on that. But I just want to say something about Andrea. I've had the opportunity to work with her for some time, and there's certain young women on the planet that I feel stop getting choked up here. That's important that they have an opportunity to have their voice be heard, and that they have the quality of their presence experienced. And so I love giving you the space to do that.
Thank you, Teresa. I just love all your tears. Keep them coming. Thank you so much. And yes, the Arc Crystal is one of the first of many applications of Nassim's unified field theory, which he got into before with Marshall. And thank you, Marshall, for navigating that. Thank you, Nassim. Thank you, everyone. So yes, I'm Andrea from Arc Crystal, and this is my partner, David, from the Resonance Science Foundation. And we are broadcasting our hearts to you here live from Taurus Tech, the third of Nassim's 3 organizations. So a life in resonance. I've asked David to join this pulse to keep us flowing in the space between sounds. And thank you, Cornflower. We were rocking out in here. Always love listening to you present, especially live. Super fun. And thank you everyone, and all the partners, and everyone watching, no matter what time. As we know, time is not linear. It's an honor to be here and connect my heart to this incredible network, especially on the year anniversary of our Coherence Day last year at the Resonance Science Foundation retreat in the California Redwoods, where Teresa put on another wonderful party, as she does, which showcased organizations just like the ones that presented today, HeartMath, as well as the pulses continued throughout this month of August. Craig Braden showed up as well. He was broadcasted last year. And the community, just like the community tuning into this call right now, and together coming in this, from a heart-centered focus, we're going to take this beautiful planet to the next level. And like Nassim said, here we go. Oh, here I go. Let's just have a breath on that one, because it's time. It's time. And so I encourage everyone, if you have your sensor, tuning into the app so we can record this, because the more science we have to back up all of this, the better. Even though we know through our heart's intelligence what's up. And so our friends at HeartMath so elegantly honor the heart through their HeartMath experience, which is also free now that I've been tuning into in my personal time when I'm not at my second home away from home. And they describe the heart as an electrical organ producing the far producing the strongest source of rhythmic bioelectric energy. Okay, I can feel mine right now, so let's just take a pause. To honor this heart-centered focus, I'd like to offer a couple of positions we can take during this pulse. And now if you're tuning in with your arc crystal, you can just simply wear it wherever you'd like on your chest, or take it out and place it on your pericardium 8, this meridian point. If you close your fist, it's where your middle finger lies, also your palm chakra. With the triangular marks up, rotate it until you feel a slightly anchored sensation, and line it up with your other center of your palm. You can tune in here. Relax shoulders, relax arms. Bringing attention to the circuit from your hands across your heart. You could even do this without a crystal and feel the energy that gathers between your hands, as our hands are one of the most beautiful gifts we're given. Another suggestion I'd like to offer, and feel free to combine or tune in and just do what feels most comfortable to you, is something that Miss Teresa Collins offered on the very first Global Coherence Pulse. And that's to take your right hand, place it over your heart center, place your left hand over your right, and connect your thumbs. Bringing attention to the circuit here. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Settling the nervous system. Starting to bring our focus around our heart. Breathing here. Letting everything for the moment just go. Using our breath to keep us present as we feel our heart expand with our chest, as we're available to receive during this session today. And imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart. Breathing in a little slower, a little deeper than usual. Finding an easy rhythm that's comfortable for you. And as we're in our hearts, let us activate our intention. Love, joy, courage, grace, gratitude, something that feels good to you, a regenerative feeling. Attention on our heart center, connecting with our heart's intelligence. And from our hearts, let this feeling pulse throughout the water of your body, amplifying the energy. Through this unified field, we'll connect with the waters of this beautiful planet. The waters of our fellow humans, and the waters of all the animals, and the water out there in the cosmos. Activating all the layers with this powerful healing energy, radiating from our hearts. We inhale and amplify our intention, and exhale and pulse it through the field. Inhale, amplify, and exhale. Every cell vibrating with our love. We broadcast this vibration, informing the field, radiating from our hearts, and harmonizing with each other and with nature. We inhale and allow ourselves to receive, and exhale, transmitting gratitude. Taking a nice deep breath into our heart and exhale, pulsing the field, radiating all the love. And let's slowly begin to bring our focus back to our own heart. As we bathe in this sea of energy, this vibratory system of our connected universe. Let us softly open our eyes. Roll our shoulders back and lift our chin and smile. Shared experience together. And may these exercises of coherence, the feeling of connection, and our heart's intelligence allow us to move through the days with an effortless ease, and going with the flow of the river of life, no matter what arises. Which brings me to the quote I'd like us to end on from our friend Bruce Lee. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Thank you, my friends.
Beautiful. Why don't you bring David back into the thing with you there?
Got it for me.
That was really such a beautiful session, both of you. The music that you played, David, in the beginning really carried a nice energy. And Andrea, you'll have to look back at the chat of all the love and the energy that's been coming your way. And let's all just take a moment and let's send this beautiful love and energy to these two. They're married. They're a couple as well, which we love.
Thank you.
So glad that you're getting an opportunity to let your beautiful radiance shine out in the beautiful and simple ways that you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go next to Cornflower. Claudia, I see you turned on your camera. Do you want to say a few words before I go to Cornflower? I'd love to bring your voice in since I can see you there. I'm going to spotlight your video. Claudia is the co-founder of the Global Coherence Pulse. She also co-founded the Global Coherence Initiative. She's been an advocate for coherence, I think, from the moment that she landed on the planet. And I'm so glad that you're here with us today, Claudia.
Thank you, Teresa. What an afternoon it's been. And I just, I turned my camera on because I wanted to send love to Andrea and, is it David? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
David. That was so beautiful. Were you playing a crystal bowl?
Yes.
You know, Rumi said speech is a river and silence the ocean. And we were talking about the ocean this morning. Someone said, talked about another Rumi quote, which is, we're not just a drop in the ocean, we're the ocean in a drop. So I've been feeling very watery, your end quote. And coming out of that ocean of silence is just pretty hard. But I will just share as a closing comment, because I was tracking the chat during the afternoon and I saw a comment that got a lot of hearts from Connie Baxter Marlowe, and it was her opening line where she said, this planet is taking us to the next level and we have to keep up with her. And to bring it back full circle, it is coherence is our portal to that connection to the planet, to being coherent with the planet so we can go to the frequency she takes us. And I wanted to thank everybody who contributed today. Cornflower, I absolutely love your music. I didn't know about you until Teresa introduced you. I think it was at a Saturday Night Alive event. And Marshall is a brother and I love to hear him speak every time. And Nassim is gone, but I really look forward to understanding more about his major contributions to the field of unified science. So thank you, Teresa, another wonderful pulse. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia. So I'm going to go to you again, Cornflower. We have some time to spend with you, having some more music and just really, really loving you so much. And so take your time and let's keep building the energy here with your love and presence.
Thank you, Teresa. And I have to say that this has been one of the most incredible live stream events I've been a part of. I really feel everyone. And it is so massive. I don't think I've ever felt anything like it before. I feel your presence, and it is informing everything that's happening on this event. And as Teresa mentioned, we are in the universe, the one song, and each one of us has a unique voice, a unique gift to share in this world. And we're each strings in a galactic symphony. And to tune into that power when we collectively unify together from our heart space is just so transformative and is such a gift to each one of us. But then what that does to our planet, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So thank you all so much for hearing the call to be here in this moment, and for opening your heart and your ears and your eyes to all that's being shared today. And this next song is called Awaken. I hope you love it.
It's not realizing itself, awaken all the love in the world, realizing itself, awaken all the love in the world, realizing itself, awaken, 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 said awaken, awaken, said awaken, said awaken, awaken,
Oh, I'm so glad you did that song this time. uh,
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
you're just precious. And Cornflower sent a little message saying that he was going to mix these, recording all of these, and he's going to make it available to us. So when we post the recording for this session, we're also going to post the recordings of these songs from today. And Cornflower, I want to ask you a question because we want to send you a lot of love right now.
Yes.
What can we do to support you, right? Like, what would be your request of this group that would help you keep doing the things that you're doing on behalf of all of us?
Well, to sign up to my Flower Seeds patron and subscription service, for $3.33 per month, you immediately get every single release I've ever released. And there's hours of music, mostly live recordings, sound meditations, concerts, ecstatic dance events that I've performed. But then every month you receive a new live recording that I release from events like this, that I produce those, I mix them, master them, and then upload them for the community there. And that's flowerseeds.vip in order to access that website. And
would you put
up.
that in the chat right now for us so that we have it? And here's that thing, like I was saying with Nassim, like everybody a little bit. I think his subscription is like $5 a month, and Cornflower just said $3 a month. Like, we can do this together by giving what we can in masses and lift up this kind of really important work. So Cornflower, we'll put that in the chat, and
There you
also
go.
send me an email of that too, so that we
Yes.
can put it on the site. And let's give Cornflower, let's send him a bunch of our waves and waves and waves of love. Whew. Mm. We're going to keep calling you back.
Yes, please.
We're just going to keep calling you back.
I will answer the call.
All right. Well, everybody, let's stay on for just a little bit longer. I want to share some things, and then I'm going to go around the room and get some closing comments, including Cornflower, and any last thoughts that you want to share. But I want to share what's coming up in August that I want you all to participate in. I'm hearing people saying this is some of the best kind of event of this style that they've been at, that it's the best party ever, and we're going to keep this going in August. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. First I'll say is that we have one more session. We really went for it for Global Coherence Day. Tonight, 6 o'clock to 8:30. We have Jess Magic and a whole crew coming from Bali. They'll just be waking up. It'll be their morning. And wow, has she pulled together some musicians, and we are just going to have another love fest tonight and celebrate our coherence and just keep pulsing this beautiful energy out in the field. So join us for that. And then, as I said, it's not just today. We decided that it was really important that we are in this practice together, that we're creating these kind of moments where we can learn more about the power of our coherence, where we can be supported to really cultivate it and to be in practice together. So we've created, first of all, this beautiful website, islandsofcoherence.net, right? And we are going to, for the month, commit to being in Islands of Coherence together and really pulse the fields and really practice and really open together to that. And so you can go there right now. I think Penny's going to put some links in the chat, islandsofcoherence.net, and you can register for this, and it's free. Just like the pulses have been, we're not charging for these because we don't want to have any boundary conditions to us all coming together and doing this important work. And we need to have support to do that, just like I was talking about with with Nassim. So I'm also going to invite you to support this project. But let me show you who's going to be happening for this month. So for the first week, next Saturday, we have Greg Braden, who's going to do the morning session. And he's going to be talking about the super cycles of 2020. And he's going to be his own musician. So he's going to be playing his flute. He's really going to go for it. And I can't wait for that. And then Marshall Lefferts is going to take our evening session, Causing Harmony. So that's going to be next Saturday. And then the following Saturday, we have Jude Curvin and Jane Corbett, Think Cosmic, Feel Global, and Act Local. I tell you, those ladies are going to blow the socks off us, and we'll have another really great day of pulsing the field. And then in the evening, we have Joe Dispenza and Roland McCready joining together on the heart-brain coherence. And then the following week, we're putting together a panel of some really badass women who are going to share their wisdom and really support us to, like, how do we keep coherence happening in the face of what we're facing? And we're going to really get on the ground about that on the August 22nd. And again, bring Jess Magic in and really encourage us all to rise up as heartists in the world, so that we're doing our passions and our gifts from our heart. And then our closing one on January 29th, we have Claudia Wells, who's going to be coming back in and really taking the session here and bringing in the overview effect, coherence and the overview effect. And they've been working on an amazing kind of 3D experience to help us to actually feel what it's like to be out and see our planet as a single organism and really have that kind of awe moment that I think changes everything about us. And then Bella Gaia is going to do a beautiful performance and bringing in some of those visuals and music. So we have an amazing month planned, and think about it like you're going on an intensive, right? We go on intensive so that we can deepen our practice, so that we can make fundamental changes in our lives, and then we leave those intensives and our life is different. Right. So we want you to come on this, and we want you to commit to your coherence over the next month and join with us. And you can go and register there right now. And while you're there, you can also make a donation to the Islands of Coherence, to the Global Coherence Pulse. It takes a lot of energy and resources and love to put these kind of things together and to build these kind of spaces. And as I said, we want it to always be free and open, because if it's not, then there's a boundary condition to something that's one of the most important things on the planet. So it can happen if we all give generously, if we can all give what we can to things that inspire us. You know, big resources aren't flowing to these things. They're going to things that we really don't care all about. But if we join our energies together and we give to the places that are really serving us, then we're going to be making some fundamental and foundational changes. So I really invite you to come and give generously, and we'll keep pouring it right back into doing more things like this and building containers like the Island of Coherence, where we have a safe space to really go deep together. So I encourage you to do all those things. We also have a Facebook page that we just set up. Penny set that up for us yesterday, and a shout out to Penny and Alexi, my partners in Live It Now Productions, who have just been working so hard. We've been really going for it. And like our Facebook page and go and help share it, and let's just get the message out far and wide. So just now in closing, we have just a few minutes. I want to bring back Marshall and Cornflower and just have everybody offer up just a few closing words. So Marshall, I'll go to you first. Thank you so much for coming on today, and I can't wait for your session next Saturday night. We get to spend time with you.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me today and next weekend, and I'm just buzzing with this joy and this love and the presence of the community and feeling the coherence in the field, understanding it in my mind and feeling it in my heart and radiating it into the world. And thank you all, everybody, for being here. Teresa and Claudia, the whole team, Cornflower brother, so beautiful. And Andrea and David, so great. The whole day has been spectacular, and there's still more tonight. So Have a blessed journey, everybody, and we'll see you also next weekend.
Thank you, Marshall. Really appreciate it. Andrea, I'm going to go to you next. Are you there? Well, let me go to, oh, there you go. All right, let's spotlight your video. There we go.
Bye.
Thank you for your beautiful presence today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for always just, you're like you just pick and pluck all the lovely and just share it with the world. And then you, like a magnet, attract more of it. And then that's what just keeps this global coherence ball rolling. I loved this. I loved every moment. And I'm so excited for August and the session this evening. But August is just we're just gonna keep, like waves, we just keep coming, crashing.
Thank you, Andrea. You know, I think it's so essential. I think it's hard for us to stay in coherence with all the things that are happening when we're alone. But in a field like this, I think you were saying, people have been saying it in the chat, it's like, it's huge what we're feeling right now, and it's real. And if we tune into that, and we can come back to this feeling at any moment, and it's right there, we're right in it. And that gives us the resilience that we need to be able to ride through whatever comes with our hearts all the way open, and really excited to do that.
And just, I wanted to just reiterate or share, rest, because we are receiving so much, doing so much just by our presence. I mean, right now, not even just what's going on with us humans, there's a lot going on in the cosmos, and as we continue to rise to each level of consciousness and the technology that follows or meets us there when we're finally getting there, you're right, Marshall, it's a shift. And so, you know, even take tomorrow to just rest and hydrate and, you know, bless the waters.
Yeah, that's for me. And Cornflower, everybody just loves you so much. You were just like one just ball of love.
Well, it's mutual to get to share in this space together. I mean, it's a dream come true. It's been something I've been being pulled towards my whole life. Every single moment of my whole life has drawn to this moment, and just feeling so blessed to get to share with so many beautiful humans. Teresa, thank you so much for the incredible container you hold here. Marshall, absolutely appreciate your presence and the gift that you share. Really, really beautiful questions that you offered, Nassim, and just what you bring is also unique and special. And I'm so stoked to hear you. I guess it's next week. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm really excited to get more from
Thank
you.
you, brother. Thank you.
And Andrea, your session was so deeply profound. I felt by the time it was my turn, I was so melted in that just juicy, coherent space. I felt so good. So thank you for creating the launching pad for that next song. And then to Nassim, I met him, I believe, it was like 2006 at Earth Dance Festival. And it was a quick moment, but I got to see his sharing that day. And I've been tracking his work and have a bunch of friends that have been very involved. And it's so incredible just watching all of this catch up to this vision and that he's been carrying. And it's amazing to witness how in this world sometimes it takes multiple cycles around the sun in order for us to recognize and realize what people have said and shared, and to see. I can only imagine what he must feel like to see people catching on to this wisdom that he's been sharing for years. And I know he's not here with us right now, but in spirit, sending so much love to him for what he brings. But it's such a gift to be alive in this moment, even in the contrast. This is why we're here, is to help bridge these contrasts. We are the bridge between these worlds. The Hopis speak of Sipapu, and I believe that the heart coherence is the Sipapu. That is the path between worlds, and that's how we're going to move from this world that we're currently transitioning out of into the new world that we're moving into. And thank you again to everyone behind the scenes who is making this possible, Ian, and what a gift to feel all of the subtle, silent supporters all around, the world, and they're beaming their hearts and love, and I feel it all. I'm so grateful for you all, and it's such a beautiful journey to be here together, so thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, and definitely a shout out to Ian. He is definitely a good sound engineer, keeping us all on track. It's been flowing really, really well. Yeah.
I do want to give one quick shout, actually. Do you mind?
No, please.
One of those people who you don't see, I don't have a band name. My name's Cornflower, but right beside me in everything I create is my beloved Nikita Gehring, and she creates something called I Am Mantra every day. She's been doing it for over 10 years, and you can check it out online at iammantra.com. And she is a spiritual tether and has held a deep, coherent field for the creation of this music since it started 15 years ago. And just so grateful for her. So I just wanted to give a pulse out to my beloved Nikita. And thank you.
Great. Nikita, will you come on camera? Would you do that?
She's in the house. I'm in the studio outside of our house. And so,
all right. Well, you give her some love, and let's definitely connect with her and get her on one of these shows as well.
That would be lovely.
Just two last things I want to say is we aren't having our after party, or what we're calling our community integration, after this session, but we will be having one tonight. We had one this morning. My light keeps going off. I guess I'm bright enough already, right? There we go. And so we are going to have, at the end of our morning sessions and our evening sessions, and we'll do that tonight, and then we'll also do it throughout, where we open up a Zoom line, a community Zoom line, where we can connect with each other. We can share what we're experiencing. We have a chance to integrate together, and that's being hosted by Coherence Hotspot. And I put a link in the chat because they do a session every Sunday, and it's free, and you should check it out. If tomorrow you're waking up and saying, I want some more coherence, I want to connect in, please connect in with them, because they're doing some beautiful work. And also a new organization that's going to be co-hosting that is newstory.earth. And throughout the month of August, we're going to be sending surveys and creating maps, and so that we can actually see the clusters of coherence that are naturally emerging as we join our energies together. So Maya and her team from the new story.earth are going to also be helping out with those integration groups. And we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, and we're going to make it visible on our beautiful website. So, what a day so far. I'm so happy. And I want to go off the screen share and just cancel. And then we just have, so we can see Marshall, and we can see Cornflower, and we can see Andrea, and Claudia's, we can know she's there. And thank you everybody for joining us today. I definitely felt overwhelmed with love today, and I can't wait to keep opening every molecule of my body to take in more, just to take in more. Claudia, do you want to say anything on the way out? No. Okay. Love you all. See you at 6 o'clock if you're coming. Whatever time that is for you, come to the Soul Salon. It's going to be awesome. Bye. Blessings.